We are listening Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Talk 146. In reply to Miss Leena Sarabhai, a cultured Indian lady of high rank, Sri Bhagavan said, "The state of equanimity is the state of bliss." The declaration in the Vedas, "I am this" or "I am that," is only an aid to gain equanimity of the mind. Then she asked that, "So it is wrong to begin with a goal, is it?" Ramana Maharshi replied, "If there be a goal to be reached, it cannot be permanent. The goal must already be there inside. We seek to reach the goal with the ego, but the goal exists before the ego. But the goal exists before the ego gets manifested. What is in the goal is even prior to our birth, that is, to the birth of the ego or before the birth of the ego. Because we exist, the ego appears to exist too." Ramana Maharshi said further that if we look on the self as the ego, then we become the ego. If as the mind, we become the mind. If as the body, we become the body. It is the thought which builds up sheets in so many ways. The shadow on the water is found to be shaking. Can anyone stop the shaking of the shadow? If it should cease to shake you, if it should cease to shake, you would not notice the water but only the light. Similarly, to take no notice of the ego and its activities, we see only the light behind. The ego is the I thought, and the true I is the self. Then the devotee asked that it is one step to realization. Over this, Ramana Maharshi replied, "Realization is already there. The state free from thoughts is the only real state. There is no such action as realization. Is there anyone who is not realizing the self? Does anyone deny his own existence? Speaking of realization, it implies two selves, the one to realize, the other to be realized. What is not already realized is sought to be realized. Once we admit our existence, how is it that we do not know ourselves?" Then the devotee asked that maybe because of the thoughts, the mind. Ramana Maharshi said on this, "Quite so. It is the mind that stands between and wields our happiness. How do we know that we exist? If you say because of the world around us, then how do you know that you existed in deep sleep?" Then the lady asked another question, realizing that the mind we need to check. She asked how to get rid of the mind. Ramana Maharshi said, Is it the mind that wants to kill itself? The mind cannot kill itself. So, your business is to find the real nature of the mind. Then you will know that there is no mind. When the self is sought, the mind is nowhere. Abiding in the self, one need not worry about the mind. Then the devotee asked that how to get rid of fear. Then again Ramana Maharshi said, what actually is fear? It is only a thought. If there is anything besides the self, there is reason to fear. Who sees the second anything external? First, the ego arises and sees objects as external. If the ego doesn't rise, the self alone exists and there is no second or nothing external. For anything external to oneself implies the seer within. Seeking it, there will arise no doubt, no fear. Not only fear, all other thoughts centered around the ego will disappear along with it. Then the devotee asks that this method seems to be quicker than the usual one of cultivating qualities alleged necessity for salvation or sadhana chatushtya. Ramana Maharshi said, yes, all bad qualities center around the ego. When the ego is gone, realization results by itself. There are neither good nor bad qualities in the self. The self always is free from all the qualities and impurities. Qualities pertain to the mind only. Self is beyond quality. If there is unity, there will also be duality. The numeral 1 gives rise to the other numbers. The number 1 or the numeric 1 gives rise to the other numbers. But the truth is neither 1 nor 2, it is as it is. Then the lady devotee asked that, Shri Bhagavan, then the difficulty is to be in the thought-free state? Ramana Maharshi replied, leave the thought-free state to itself. Do not think of it as pertaining to you. Just as when you walk, you involuntarily take steps, so too in your actions. But the thought-free state is not affected by your action. Then she asked, what is it that is discriminative in action? Ramana Maharshi said, discrimination will be automatic, intuitive. So intuition alone matters, intuition develops also, Shri Bhagavan. To this, Ramana Maharshi said, those who have discovered great truths have done so in the still depths of the self. The ego is like one's shadow thrown on the ground. If one attempts to bury it, it will be foolish. The self is only one. If limited, it is the ego. If unlimited, it is the infinite and is the reality. The bubbles are different from one another and numerous, but the ocean is only one from where the bubble is arising. Similarly, the egos are many, whereas the self is one and only one. Ramana Maharshi said further that when told that you are not the ego, realize the reality. Why do you still identify yourself with the ego? It is like saying, don't think of the monkey while taking the medicine. It is impossible. Similarly, it happens with common folk. When the reality is mentioned, why do you continue to meditate Shivoham or on Brahmasmi? The significance must be traced and the significance must be understood. It is not enough to repeat the bare words or think of them. Reality is simply the loss of the ego. Destroy the ego by seeking its identity or source. Because the ego is no entity, it will automatically vanish. And reality will shine forth by itself. This is the direct method. Whereas all other methods are done only retaining the ego. In those paths there arise so many doubts, and the eternal question remains to be tackled finally. But in this method, the final question is the only one, and it is raised from the very beginning. No sadhanas are necessary for engaging in this quest. Maharshi Ramana said very important thing, that there is no greater mystery than this. Ourself being the reality, we seek to gain reality. We think that there is something hiding our reality and that it must be destroyed before the reality is gained. This is ridiculous. A day will dawn when you will yourself laugh at your past efforts. That which will be on the day you laugh is also here and now. That which will be on the day you laugh is also here and now. Then she said, Shri Bhagavan, then it is a great game of pretending? Ramana Maharshi said, yes. In Yoga Vasishtha it is said, what is real is hidden from us, but what is false is revealed as true. We are actually experiencing the reality only, still we do not know it. Is it not a wonder of wonders? The quest, who am I, is the axe with which to cut off the ego. So who am I is a tool for any individual to cut off the ego and become from the finite to the self. Talk 147. In answer to a sannyasi, Sri Bhagavan said, there are different grades of mind. Realization is of perfection. It cannot be comprehended by the mind. Sarvajnatva, the state of all knowing, is to be sarvam, is to be the all. The all pertains only to the mind. The known and the unknown together form the all. After transcending the mind, you remain as the self. The present knowledge is only of limitation, and that knowledge is unlimited. Before or being so, it cannot be comprehended by this knowledge. Cease to be a knower, then there is perfection. Now we take a pause. Thanks for listening.